Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I got my buddy Jerid here. We're going to be forging some railroad spikes into knives. Normally I don't do this because the railroad spikes, they don't really harden, but these are special custom-made railroad spikes out of 1080 high carbon steel. So we're going to make something cool out of them.
Let's do it.
All right. These rail spikes were made by Atlas Knife and Tool. We got ours from my buddy Jeff Donnerman at the Warriors Way Foundation, but you can buy them at Maritime Knife Supply. Link down in the description. This session was my first chance to use my new Holland anvil. This is a 260-pound double horn anvil made right here in the U.S. in Holland, Michigan. The first thing I wanted to do was to twist my handle. So I knew how big my handle was going to be, and then the blade was just the rest of the spike. I wanted the twist to go right to the end of the handle, so now I'm twisting it by the head itself, just to make sure those twists go all the way. Now I wanted to flatten out the sides just to give it a little more height in your hand. I'm definitely not used to the new anvil because I didn't even notice I was hammering over the hardy hole until Jerid told me. I'm starting to get used to the anvil, and this side shelf is super useful. Great application for this rail spike. Now I'm kind of rounding out the corners so there's nothing sharp in your hand. I don't want to do much grinding on the handle here because that'll take off all the nice forged texture. Now it's time to move on to the blade. I'm using a diagonal peen hammer from Two Bastards and just widening it. First thing I want to do is widen it out. As you can see, this took a bunch of heats to get the width I wanted before I started doing any kind of forging on the blade. Stay tuned to the end and see how you can win this knife when I'm done. Hanging on to these things was quite a challenge. I don't have the right kind of tongs for rail spikes. They do make special tongs for them, and they would have come in real handy. I finally have most of the width I need. Now let's start to work on the little nuances of the blade. Like here, I'm just forming the tip. Now it's time to actually start hammering in the bevels, and this is where I'm really starting to thin it out, and it'll get a lot wider at the same time. I'm going for a clip point hunter with a bit of a recurve, and you can start to see it take shape in this heat. Now I'm doing a little preform and making that clip in the front, and I'm over accentuating that because when I hammer in the bevels, it's going to curve back up. I'm really trying to spend the right amount of time to get the right thickness on this blade because I don't want to be grinding bevels and having to grind off all of the forge scale. We're good. And here I am, the final heat of forging, just pulling the heel down just a little bit more, but pretty much I'm calling this one done. Now she's looking like a knife. Now it's Jerid's turn. He had actually already twisted this off camera, twisted a little better than mine, But here he's accidentally hitting the wrong side of the spike. We do notice eventually and correct it. Jerid's working at this one pretty hard, trying to thin it out just like I was doing before and get a lot more width before he lengthens it. Definitely starting to take shape here. Still not quite as wide as he wants it, but it's getting there. Jerid's working on the heel here to get some width, but he keeps getting pulled away on work calls, so that's as far as he gets in this session. After a normalization and a couple of grain refinement cycles all in the forge, I'm ready for the heat treat. So here's mine after heat treat. It's pretty good. I'm only going to do a bevel on this. I'm not going to touch any of the scale. Got to put a bit of a choil here just to extend the handle just a little bit. And I think I'm going to put a swedge on it, and yeah, should just be a little bit of grinding. We're going to call this one done. First thing I'm going to do is take a wire wheel and just take off the heavy scale, shine it up a little bit. Now do a surface conditioning belt just to take any sharp edges off. Now I'm setting up for that false edge. I'll mark some layout lines and then go to the grinder. I'll put in some bevels, and then we're almost done. Time to sharpen. Of course, I'm using the perfect blade sharpening attachment. You can get yours at TyrellKnifeworks.com. This was a really fun project, and I'm really thrilled with how it turned out. If you want to own this knife, I'm going to be giving it away to one of my Patreon members. If you're not a member, go check out the link in the corner. Thanks, folks. See you on the next one.